And a good morning, a good Saturday morning. Welcome to the sports section here on Steve Shuttler Media. It's brought to us by our friends at Brothers Market in Sigourney, Iowa, 118 South Main in Sigourney. You can also call 641-622-2191. Brothers Market, bringing us our sports section here on Steve Shuttler Media. Got a bunch of guests lined up today. Devin Daly, Dave Peterson, Jake Moore, and Hunter Searon all going to be hanging out this morning. I'm sure we'll also be seeing the infamous Neil Crott as well. He'll be coming in to help us pick some of our games today. And Alan Sellers, he thought he needed to have the week off today. So we have Bruce Hahn as our lone host today. Bruce, I know you got Devin with you right now. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Steve. Welcome to the sports section here on a beautiful Saturday morning. Last sports section of the year.
Yeah.
So 2024 is right on the back porch, waiting to come in. So I'm here this morning with Devin. Devin is like so famous and so you just got to say Devin. You don't even have to say your last name or anything. Like Prince and MJ. It's like Devin. That's all it is.
That is some high praise. Okay.
Welcome to the show, Devin.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
My first question to you is explain to us what you do in Sigourney and kind of your pathway, how you got to Sigourney. I know you came from Pekin, graduated from Pekin. So how did you end up in Sigourney?
Yeah, I started off, I graduated at Pekin, ran cross country, track, speech, drama, all of that I did at Pekin. Then as I started to explore what I wanted to do with my life, I ended up coaching 1 year of junior high track at Williamsburg. After Williamsburg, I came to Sigourney. It was actually funny. I applied for junior high track 1 year and speech because I knew I loved speech. That was, as much as I love sports, speech was my favorite thing. And when I was doing my interview, Shannon Webb was like, "Hey, you want to take the play too?" And I'm like, "No," but I was like, "Sure." So I ended up taking it, and then the next year after junior high track season, which loved junior high track, Lee Crawford was like, "Do you want to do cross country? Do you want to talk about that?" So then I kind of ended up with cross country too. So now we're on this will be year 3 at Sigourney for junior high track. We're going on this was year 2 for cross country, and then same with the speech and play, this is year 3. So.
Excellent. Sounds like you stay busy throughout the year with yourself. I know you in cross country, you coach some of the boys that I coach in track, so it's fun. We get to talk and converse a little bit about that, so that's a good thing. So you said you're involved in the play, getting that ready to go.
Yep.
So just a little background on it. How do you pick which play you're going to do? How did the auditions work, and what goes on behind the scenes that most people don't know happen?
Yeah, so you kind of start play season like it's a play season, but you start it like clear as soon as that play's done. You're in game mode of like, what are we going to do next year? Because it takes a long time. There's a lot of plays out there. So this year we picked Clue. We're going to do that. Sigourney had previously done it over COVID year, but didn't get to perform it. So we kind of had the one-up with that to be able to kind of redo that play. And again, it'll be under me this year, I think it was Gabrielle Atwood who did it last year, so it'll look completely different either way. We did auditions the week before Christmas break, so 2 weeks ago now. We had a law audition. It was kind of a crazy audition. The way I do auditions is I make them all read a monologue and then do a scene together. And so kind of see how they'll work together, which I always think is kind of funny because with a small school like Sigourney, you kind of know anyways, but it's always fun to see like what they're going to bring to it. We had a lot of freshmen this year who I haven't really worked with, so it's going to be a fun season.
Can you tell us what play you're doing yet, or is it still secret?
Yeah, no, we're doing Clue. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So
that'll be good. So when does the play happen? When
it's in March. I always get this wrong, so fact check me. But March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, if that is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it's that week. It's either 22nd, 23rd, 24th, or 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Yeah.
Excellent. I know me and my wife try and go out to the play. We enjoy those. They're fun to watch, especially when you know a lot of the kids that play in it.
Sure.
So one thing that Alan wanted me to bring up.
Here we go.
So I told Alan when he told me Devin was going to be on today and he wasn't going to be here, I was like, well, I wonder if she'll even show up since it's just me, because me and Devin's first interaction together ever, she thought I was the biggest jerk, the meanest guy ever in the history of the world.
Up there for sure.
We were at a track meet, and I had a boy long jumping, and she was the only one over there, bless her heart, by herself,
Yep.
where there should have been 2 other people with her.
Yep.
But she called my boy for a scratch, and I still say to this day he was like a half inch behind the line.
And I still say to this day it was a scratch.
So from that point, it took me like, 2 years now before Devin would even actually talk to me and find out
Yeah.
that, he's really not that bad. I mean, he is still kind of a jerk, but he's not that bad.
No. We've made up since then.
Well, Devin, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Get out and see the play. It's always a good time. It's always good. Steve, you got any questions about the play? I know your daughter participated quite a bit, was
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
the singer.
Yeah, Riley, of course, was involved. I was going to ask you, since we're doing the sports section, we'll kind of tie it in together. How many athletes do you think cross over into doing the play? Do you get a lot of crossover there?
Yeah, so it's actually really funny because last year we had this whole ordeal with like the wrestlers and the basketball players. We can't do it. We don't have time. Well, we had one wrestler come out and was like, no, I'm doing the play. And since then, we've had a lot who have stepped up. I would say that 90%, because we have a lot of freshmen who are kind of finding their footing in high school who maybe haven't joined a sport yet, who I foresee joining a sport. But we have, I think 90% of the play right now is high school athletes. So
Nice.
it's definitely possible. You can do it. So
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you do cross country, that's in the fall,
Yep.
and then you do track, that's in the spring.
Yep.
So when do you start heading into track practice, or when does that begin?
So March, like I said, March 20, I think 23rd, 24th is the play. That next Monday is when we start track practice. So
Okay,
it's like
all right.
back to back to back. So
And what do you see forecast for the upcoming track season? Do you see good things happening?
I do see good things happening. We have a couple people returning from last year who obviously did really well at junior high track. We have Bryn Clarahan, who ridiculous athlete. We have some upcoming 7th graders who I've heard just great things about. So I'm really excited to work with this new group.
Very cool. And then maybe go backwards for cross country. I know we had you in earlier back in maybe September or so for the sports section, if I remember right.
We had
Cody.
Cody.
Yeah,
Cody
Cody.
came in.
Cody was in. How did cross country end up doing?
Yeah, cross country did pretty well. We were really lucky to take on Cody this year he called himself volunteer coach, but he was a coach, period. He was really helpful for some of the things that like I didn't see happening. He could see happening, and so we kind of bounced off each other of like, hey, this isn't working, maybe we can do this, or I would do the same thing of like, hey, they're doing a lot of this practice, let's do this. So we were pretty good in that way. We had a lot of PRs. The season didn't end for a lot of them how they wanted to at districts, but we have next year. That's one thing about our team is that we have a really young team. Our oldest this year was a junior, so they've got at least 1 year to do it again. So we'll see what happens.
And then when does, of course, looking way ahead, when does cross country start? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, school starts the end of August.
Yep.
When does cross country start into things?
Yeah, we start summer running, and not every single day, but we start in June is when we start summer running. So
Okay.
they'll be out. You'll probably see them around town. If you don't already, we have some who are still running. So
Yeah.
Hey, just keep going.
Awesome. Do you get out there and run long
Sometimes.
distances with the kids?
Sometimes it kind of depends on what we're doing. My philosophy is I've already done that, so we'll see if I'll do it again.
I will say, Steve, as a high school boys track coach, I do not run with the boys.
I don't blame you.
Those days have passed me long ago.
I don't blame you.
And with
All
Devin
right.
coming from Pekin, one of these days I'm going to sit down and pick her brain
There you go.
about the idol workouts
Oh,
and
boy.
see where we're at with
They're-
the legend down there at
They're
Pekin.
definitely something. We've got some mottos for sure.
Awesome. Bruce, I'll let you wrap it up if you got anything else.
Alrighty, no, thank you for coming in, Devin, and we'll try and get you back in here after the play or before during
Perfect.
track season.
All right.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Devin.
All righty. And once again, we do thank Devin Daly. Again, cross country, track, and the play Clue. Looking at the calendar, you said it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday? All right, so it would be the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th is when the play Clue will be held by the Sigourney High School. So always a fun time. Well, you can see there on your screen as we welcome in our next guest. You can see there on our screen our Keokuk County Hospital and Clinics Athlete of the Week for this past week, as voted on by our viewers of the Steve Shetler Media Facebook page. And Bruce, do you know how to say her name? Is it Ayla Hall from Tri-County?
I believe it's Isla Hall.
Isla, okay. Ayla, Isla Hall. She's a Tri-County student. Now, of course, the Tri-County girls combined with the HLV girls for basketball. So, again, a Tri-County student. We label her as an HLV basketball player, but Isla Hall of Tri-County HLV basketball, our athlete of the week. It was funny because she was nominated kind of a day late into the process and didn't know if she would have a very good chance of winning, because usually within those first 12 to 24 hours, the poll is pretty much set in its ways. But Isla came in a little bit late and still won. So congratulations to Isla Hall. HLV basketball, Tri-County High School, our Keokuk County Hospital and Clinics Athlete of the Week. I don't think we'll have a poll this week just because of a lack of action. So nothing going on, obviously, with the holidays. So we'll take this next week off for the Athlete of the Week, but then we'll be back at it in the new year. So again, congratulations to Isla. Let's go back to Bruce. He's got his next guest hanging out with him, Mr. Dave Peterson. Guys.
You know what we could do, Steve? We could do a poll between you, me, Alan, and Neil, and see which one would win that one. Since we're all four so athletic.
Yeah. we should have some sort of competition, maybe a 3-point contest, free throw contest. I don't know.
Bowling. We go bowl.
Wii bowling, maybe.
That'd be fine. I can do that from the
Some
chair.
Wii sports.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
Now wait a minute. I could see actual bowling because I've seen Bruce bowl out at Keokuk County Lane.
Yeah, he'd destroy all of us.
That's why I said bowling, Dave. Yes, I'm here with Pastor Dave Peterson. So Dave came to Sigourney for us, helps out with a lot of stuff. Dave, why don't you just just kind of give us a brief synopsis of your from high school up to what brought you to Sigourney, and because I've heard Dave tell stories, and we could be here a while if I let Dave get going.
I'll share with everyone watching and also with Steve and Bruce that my wife said, "Don't talk too much." When you give a pastor a microphone, it can. And I'm a talker to begin with, but. Grew up in Altoona, 1975 grad of Southeast Polk. And actually, as a little kid, I was a gym rat because my dad was a football coach at Altoona High School, which became part of the Southeast Polk district back in 1962. And so I've been around sports all my life. In high school, participated in football, basketball, track, and baseball. And went to Simpson College and participated in track. And then after graduating, I went to work for a major insurance company out of Des Moines as a claims adjuster. Worked there for a couple of years, and then went into business with my dad. He left the teaching job and opened up a real estate and insurance agency from scratch on the back porch of our house, and went in with him in the 90s, bought him out, wrestled with the call to ministry for over 20 years, and finally said yes. Went to seminary. I've served the major portion of my career in Southeast Iowa. My first full-time appointment was 9 years in Fairfield as the associate pastor at the Methodist Church there. Then I moved to Prairie View, which I'm familiar with the Pekin school system and the legendary Davis Idol. But yet, one of the things that I've always done is try to give back to the communities where I've lived. And back when I was in business in Altoona and at Southeast Polk, I helped announce sports events. And that's carried through my career. Fairfield, I did all the announcing for all the home activities. And when I moved to Prairie View, lived in Packwood, Frosty Van Voorst did the football games, and he was entrenched, so didn't do anything there, but I helped with track meets. Track and field was my first love in sports. As I said, I competed in high school and college. I qualified for the Drake Relays in high school and college. Then it was a 15-year Drake Relays official. And the last 10 of those years, I was a head discus judge and was able to work the very last Olympic Sports Festival in St. Louis. And then the year that OJ was being slowly chased in the white Bronco in L.A., I was in Nashville, Tennessee with a group of our officials working the USA National Track and Field Championships. And so everywhere I've been, I've helped to volunteer with either working the meets or doing some coaching and then announcing. And that brings me here to Sigourney. I retired almost 2 years ago from full-time ministry. We'd already bought a retirement home here in Sigourney. My wife lived here for 5 years. I served in Clear Lake in my last full-time appointment. Came back here almost 2 years ago and noticed that at times there weren't announcers for certain events. And I'd volunteered with Lee to help with track meets. And then in a conversation, I shared my announcing experience, so he asked me if I'd be willing to announce home baseball games. And that's where it started as far as doing things here at Sigourney. And then while he and I were conversing, I goes, well, I've been to some basketball games, and there's someone that announces the starters, but then after that, nothing. I goes, could it work where I could announce? Well, at first, he thought I wanted Rick's job of doing that. I goes, no, just, do the PA for home basketball games. And so that started this year. And having a ball with it, I've always loved doing announcing. It's a way to use my voice, but also to be active in the community, but more important to support the kids that are out there in the programs and support their parents, but also to hopefully help with sportsmanship. Just a real quick story. This year's the first year that I've had an official come over to me, and he stopped in the middle of the game, and he came over and he says, I want you to announce that if there's any more cursing from the crowd, we will clear the gym. And so I made the announcement, and there was dead silence. But yet throughout the years, I've had a lot of fun doing these things, interacted with a lot of people, and got to meet some fantastic athletes. Going back to, as a kid, Dad was a Drake Relays official. In 1969, we're walking out of Drake Stadium and walking up to Forest, and there's a bus stop there, an old bus bench, and there was this an older gentleman sitting there who was African American, and Dad knew who he was, but I didn't. But he started talking to him, and it was Jesse Owens. Nice. And so I've got his autograph on a 1969 Drake Relays program. It is in my safe deposit box. It's something, and had the chance to have a good conversation with him, and so yeah, I've had a chance to meet a whole lot of really cool people through this.
Well, that's cool. You've got lots of stories to tell. So when you qualified for Drake and state track and everything like that, what did you do in track? What was your event?
I was a thrower, so I qualified in the discus. The platter was my first love. It's sort of orchestrated ballet in an 8-foot circle, and I was self-taught. My senior year is when I blossomed. That's when I qualified for Drake as a high schooler, and then went on to Simpson College, and my senior year there qualified for the relays, and I will confess that I qualified, but I did not throw. There were three of us we were part of the Iowa conference, and there were three of us that qualified, and throwers are our community, and so we hung out together, and the three of us decided, yes, we qualified, but we knew that we're going to be in there with a bunch of 180 to 200 foot throwers, and I mean, we're in the 150, 160 range, and it's like, no, we'll just go watch.
That's still a great experience, though.
Oh yeah, it's the relays are super cool. I mean, just to see a full stadium, and regardless of the weather. In fact, the last 3 years I worked as a relays official, it snowed on us. And so, Drake's sort of familiar. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, the Drake Relays is when it's crappy weather, but yet there's more good weather days than bad weather days. Then also working the state track meets was fun too.
Excellent. I know you said you do announcing in Sigourney, and you announce the basketball games, and you've done some track stuff. What anything else you do? I know you spend Friday nights in the press box with me and Coach Sellers.
Yep. This year I said I'd be willing to help run the play clock, not the game clock, the play clock, where either after every play it's either 40 seconds for the next play to start or 25 seconds depending on the situation. And so again, it's a way to help in the community, and I love being up there with the guys, and hopefully that continues, because we have fun, and you hear all sorts of things up there. But yet Bruce is the general in the press box. He's our so-called press box manager. He keeps us in line.
Self-proclaimed title. Yep, I fill in whenever. The only thing I haven't touched up there is the play clock, and I pray to God I never do, because I just look at the sheet of when you reset it, when you don't, and I'd rather just watch the football game.
That is part of the problem is being a sports junkie. You start watching the game, you figure, oh, I need to hit that button to either start it or stop it, or watch for the official to do the reset. And I will confess I missed a couple times this year, but yet it's sort of fun.
Do anything with wrestling, Dave, or
no?
You been out? You haven't?
No, went to a wrestling meet last year. In high school, when I was in high school at Southeast Polk. Southeast Polk had one of the better wrestling teams in the state.
They still do.
It was Red Owens was the coach, and he really started the program there, and it's just grown to what it is today.
So did you play football at Simpson also?
No, I did not. My senior year in high school, but I will share this story. My junior year, we went 9-0 and got beat by Dowling 64-14 in the playoffs. We were the smallest school in 3A that year, and we should have been in 2A because our administrators back then played the game of head count to get more state money. And if we'd been 2A, there's no doubt in our minds that we would have won the whole thing. But we played Dowling that first round. We were 9-0 in the regular season, and then my class as seniors, the first winning football game I'd ever played on was as a sophomore. I was the starting center on the JV football team. My class never won a ball game as a class. We went from 9-0 as juniors, and our senior year we're the only team in Southeast Polk history to go 0-9. And I will say I probably learned more in that 0-9 year than I did in any other year that I played sports. My brother was a 144-pound dripping wet sophomore. I was the starting center, and he was the right guard. There were only 11 seniors left in our class by the time we got there. And also Frank Gilson had been our coach, and he left Southeast Polk after our junior season, went to Newton. No one wanted to coach us. That's the God's honest truth. And Bill Hewlin was one of the assistants, and he stepped up and coached us. And it was an interesting year, but I got hurt partway through the season, and it was a back injury. I didn't know until later on in life that I actually had a deformity. My L4, L5 were not formed properly and were floating, and so I made the decision not to play football in college just because I wasn't real sure what was going on at that time. And track and field was my first love. And I knew I wouldn't play in college.
Excellent. Steve, you got any questions for Dave that you think of?
Are you the type of pastor that says in closing a few different times, or did you just stick with one? In closing.
Steve, what's sort of funny is that I don't know in my 20-some years as a pastor that I've ever said that.
Oh, really?
No.
All right. Well, you can say it today.
I might have, but yet I just, I can't think. Of course, I'm retired now, but I am serving Batavia and Eldon part-time in retirement. But yet I don't think I've ever said in closing. I may have, but in this soon-to-be 67-year-old brain, I can't remember. But yet, so in closing.
Now, I was going to say, I do appreciate you. You're very active on my Facebook page, just liking and commenting and stuff. And I know you've been to several different things we've been doing. So just appreciate your support of Steve Shetler Media.
Well, having been a local business owner previously, I know it's important to support local businesses in all the ways that you possibly can. And I appreciate, Steve, what you're doing from a media standpoint, because you're helping this community. And it's cool stuff that you're doing. And that was really cool at Barn Wired yesterday for the music showcase to hear a 12-year-old sing like that. It was amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Bruce, you want to wrap things up here?
Yep. Well, Dave, we got pretty lucky when we got you to move to Sigourney. Fountain of knowledge. I will admit, I love track. Track is probably my favorite sport to coach, and I know nothing about throwing, so don't be surprised if I don't come find you this year. I try and help some kids. The first kid I coached throwing was Peyton Schaff. He was a really good discus thrower. Always thanked me. Always said it was my help that got him there, and He's just being nice. I can guarantee you he's just being nice because I probably messed him up more than I helped him. But he was a good enough athlete. He fought through it. So, but Dave, thank you for coming in. Thank you for everything you do for the community and the school. Much appreciated. And we'll see you up in the box on Friday nights.
Well, you'll see me track season before then.
I usually don't look at the press box.
Well, no, I won't be in the press box. I'll be helping run the discus or whatever Lee wants me to do.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Well, Dave Peterson, thank you for coming in today for the sports section. I appreciate your time. And while we switch between our guests, I know we've got a couple of guys that are going to be coming in here with Bruce here momentarily. We'll take a look at the Brothers Market holiday hours, as really not a whole lot changing for the New Year's holiday, New Year's Eve. Which is tomorrow. They'll be open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then New Year's Day, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So, they took a little time off on Christmas Day, but back at it on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day here at Brothers Market. You can stop in and get your groceries. I know we've got Jake and Hunter coming up next. Again, Jake Moore and Hunter Searin. With wrestling and football. One of them's on crutches. And you guys make yourselves at home there next to Bruce. Again, Hunter Searin and Jake Moore joining Bruce on today's sports section. Bruce.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, we're here with Hunter Searin and Jake Moore. I'm a lot more comfortable talking to you guys than adults. I don't know why. I've always been a lot more comfortable around the high school athletes and coaching you guys. So we'll start with you, Hunter. Tell us a little bit about yourself, from Keota, activities you participate in.
Well, yeah, my name is Hunter, and I've done, football. I came over here to Sigourney a lot throughout my years, but I participated in football, wrestling. I did some golf and some trap shooting, but my main two sports I've always done was football and wrestling, and I've had to drive over to Sigourney quite a bit, but I've loved every minute of it, and I'm glad I got to be part of these teams.
And you're a senior this year?
Yes, I am a senior.
So how'd you get started in the wrestling?
So it was actually funny. There was a kid who encouraged me because I wasn't the best at basketball, but he encouraged me to go out and do it, and I was unsure. And then seventh grade year, I decided to give it a try, so I went out there, and Bronson McCauley was the head coach. And I did 2 years there in junior high, and I fell in love. And I was probably the first one to do it in quite a while from Keota, but I'm really grateful I did it. And there's some younger kids now, and we're getting more active. And I just got to be really thankful for Sigourney, the school district, and Lee Crawford and all those guys behind the scenes, because they really got involved. And there was really nobody threw a fit or nothing, and everybody got along, and I got to participate in a good team.
Excellent. Yeah, I was going to ask you, so what's it like? We know Keota is a big basketball school always. I mean, that's their culture over there is basketball. What's it like being a wrestler in a basketball school?
Yeah, they're a really big basketball school. They're pretty good right now, but I don't know. I've always got along with classmates, and it's okay. I mean, it's always been mutually respected. I cheer them on. They hope I do good, and we've always played all the sports together, so it's not too bad, but I'm grateful.
Excellent. Jake Moore. My neighbor. I've known Jake ever since he was about a foot tall. Jake is the most honest kid you will ever talk to. If he says something and you ask him what he said, he will tell you exactly what he said and not care. Right, Jake?
That's right, Bruce.
So why don't you tell us what grade you're in, activities you participate in?
Well, I'm a senior. I'm currently doing wrestling right now. I was in football and then play baseball and run track. And, yeah.
I was hoping you said run track.
Yeah.
So how's wrestling going so far this season?
It's going pretty good. I mean, we're pretty young, though, right now, but they got to learn somehow, and you just got to keep progressing through it, and we'll get there.
State qualifier last year. Well, you think you're got a pretty good chance of making it back there again this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple tough kids in my district, but, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it but beat them. I mean.
Yep, just go wrestle. That's why they put
right.
you on the mat. And I see that you lost one of your weights. Hunter hurt his leg or foot or whatever he did. What's going on with your leg there, Hunter?
I broke my fibula. It's not fun. Injuries, they happen, though, and I don't know. I'm grateful. I got all my years in without any injury, and sucks to finish your senior year off like that, but that's what it takes. But I'm glad to see, like Jake said, they're a really young team, and there's a lot of kids filling in positions that, a varsity spot would be scary coming in from a young age, but they're doing good. I mean, if you get over the injury aspect, taking out 2 of your 4 seniors right off the start of the year is not how you want to go on about that. But, I mean, I hope that team, grows and they get better as they go on.
Speaking of wrestling varsity as a freshman, I know me and Coach Sellers wrestled, and he always says probably one of the worst things he ever did in sports was win the varsity spot as a freshman wrestling for Sigourney, because we were in conference with Belle Plaine and Iowa Valley, and I mean there were some hammers when we were in high school, and he did not enjoy himself whatsoever, and to this day he'll still say that he should have lost. So back to Jake here. A big thing got released last week. Pretty big honor. Not many kids get to do this. You got invited to the Shrine Bowl for football. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So like probably a month ago, Coach Jensen was asking me if I would like to submit like a highlight reel and just try to be a part of it and get selected. I was like, sure, yeah, not really thinking anything of it. And then I got an email last week, and I was like, you're selected. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I mean, it'll be really fun. I think it'll be an awesome experience.
Yeah, because the Shrine Bowl, it's every kid in the state. There's no classes, no divisions. It's East and West, right? Or North and South.
Yeah, North and South.
North and South. And I did see that the coach for the South has some Sigourney connections. Chad Edeker married one of the Carey girls, so it'd be Danny McLaughlin's uncle.
Oh, I see.
So, but that's a pretty big accomplishment. I think we've had a few here and there, but it doesn't happen every year for Sigourney Keota to get someone in the Shrine Bowl. Now that's a pretty impressive accomplishment. So Hunter, what's your plans after high school?
I plan on going to Iowa State. I mean, I was probably committed when I was about 3. We went to all the home games and stuff. But yeah, I'm following my older sister. We're gonna go up to Iowa State, and I'm gonna major in ag studies, and I think I'll get along just fine.
I blame that Iowa State thing on your parents.
Yeah, it was a little biased from the start, but I'm happy.
Wow, me and Alan, I mean, we did everything we could to convert you over, and we didn't get it done. I got the honor of coaching these 2 kids in junior high football, so that was an absolute blast. That was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. That was a good time. So, Jake, what's your plans after high school?
I plan on going to Kirkwood and major in ag business a couple of years.
Come back farm with your dad?
Yep.
That'd be a good thing. So, Hunter, out of all the sports you played, all the things you've done, what's a couple highlights that stand out, some of your favorite moments in sports?
So, coming in, football, it was really fun to be a part of we had a big team there my freshman year, and then just coming in, being an underclassman, we had a lot of upperclassmen that were really good to you, and they showed you how they played their sports, and they played hard, and it gave you an inspiration. So our class, our grade from Sigourney and Keota, we always got along well, and we were pretty successful ourselves, and we had a successful 4 years. That's all you can ask for. But then coming into wrestling, I can tell you I was really nervous, but especially my freshman year, I wasn't in the best shape, little shorter guy, but Corey was really big motivator, and I got in a lot better shape, and then I realized all the possibilities I could do, and I didn't have quite the experience Jake did walking in. He was pretty good his younger years, but man, it was a blast, and I got to where I wanted to be towards the end. But yeah,
excellent. Jake, any memories stand out to you? I know one memory that stands out to me, just a recent one of you playing, was our very first playoff football game this year, and I saw all the tweets and all the Snapchats of them saying Sigourney SK who. And was it the first or second play of the game? They met
First
Jake
play.
Moore. And I looked at Al and I go, well, they know who we are now.
Yeah, that was a pretty big eye opener for them, right off the start. But yeah, that was a good game.
Got any good memories? Other good memories of wrestling, baseball, track, football? Any of them?
I would say probably one of my top memories was last year, and you remember it like the back of your hand too. Mediapolis, the old goal stop. That's probably a top memory that will never be topped. I mean, you can't ask for much more. Playoff football game on your own turf, stop with 2 or 3 yards to go. I mean, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that couple years ago, you guys had a couple games that were the defense shined through and moving Jake into that linebacker spot. That was a pretty big deal for you.
Yeah, it was probably the best choice that they made for that right now.
Yeah, sometimes coaches, we kind of know stuff maybe a little bit. There's guys at the high school level who know a lot more than me though. So
Junior high coach.
Yep, that's why I'm a junior high coach. I know enough to get us in trouble, and that's about it. So this is kind of a biased question since I'm the only one sitting here, and Coach Sellers isn't here, and none of the other coaches are here. But who out of all the years and all the sports you played, your favorite coach?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a little biased over there, but yeah, them junior high coaches over there, they were quite a time. They were quite a blast, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. You guys made it fun. I just don't think I can single out and pick a favorite coach. I mean, there's too many to pick from.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you guys, both of you in your career in sports have had some really good coaches. Coach Crawford, Coach Vanden Heuvel, Coach Jensen. I mean, you've had some really, really good coaches, really good mentors to you guys. And you can kind of tell the caliber of a coach on how hard his kids work. And you two are some of the hardest working kids in that program. Football, wrestling, doesn't matter. You guys come, put in the time, put in the work, and don't complain about nothing else. Anything else you want to add for today? Any exciting news coming up? Anything? Nope. When's your next wrestling meet?
I believe it's Thursday. It's a home duel, first home duel of the year, so that'll be exciting.
That'll be fun. I'll get to come out and run track wrestling, watch you guys.
Oh yeah.
It's always going to be loud. Them home meets get crazy, right? Yep. Hopefully they show up to wrestle.
Yeah, we'll get a lot of people out there. So Thursday night, if you're not doing anything, come on out to the high school and watch some wrestling. Pack the gym like the old days and get it loud. They got a new light for the center mat, so I don't know if they turn those on for the duels or not, but it's pretty cool when all the lights are off and the spotlights are on and you get to go wrestle underneath those. So, I mean, that's kind of a tradition in Sigourney that's been probably since that school was built. So that's pretty cool. Steve, you got anything for these boys?
I don't think so. Should we jump right into our pick'ems?
Yeah, let's bring
Neil in.
Mr. Neil Crott in here, and we'll do some. You guys stay here. You're gonna collaborate on the picks.
Yeah, you guys spread yourselves out. Give yourselves some room there. Let Neil squeeze in there as Neil comes in, because Neil is a sports expert. We're taking a look at the pick'em standings. Some juggling around from last week. You know, I had a horrible week. The previous week, I went 1 out of 10 on my pick'ems, but if you're looking at the standings right now on your screen, the guest pickers are now starting to pull away from all of us experts here at Steve Shetler Media. The guest pickers are at 26. Look who's in second place, Neil Crott, the guy that doesn't know anything about sports. At 23, I actually rebounded this week. I am tied for second with you, Neil, at 23. Bruce is at 22, and then Alan is at 21. He brings up the rear, so the guest picker's doing good, and then you got Neil and I at 23. So let's bring it back live here. Bruce, what do we got for games? I know that Alan has already put his picks in.
Yep, so Al puts this list together. We got one NFL game, and we got all bowl games today. So
okay.
We'll start out here. The Chick-fil-A Bowl, Ole Miss versus Penn State.
Oh, Penn State all the way. That's an easy one.
You two collaborate and get an answer.
I was going to say, you could just go back and forth if you want to pick them that way.
Yep,
too.
we're picking Penn State.
Who do we got? Penn State and Ole Miss?
Ole Miss, yes.
Yeah, I'll go Penn State.
Alan picks Ole Miss, and I'm going to go with Al with Ole Miss.
Okay.
We got the Music City Bowl, Auburn versus Maryland.
Auburn, just because they got a cool name.
We'll go with Auburn. They had a game versus Alabama there.
I'm having a brain fart here. It's Auburn and who?
Maryland.
What the heck? I'll stick with the Big Ten, Maryland.
And I'm going to go, Al went with Auburn, and I'm going to go with Auburn also.
That's probably the smart pick.
The Orange Bowl, Georgia versus Florida State.
Ooh, why did everybody go ooh?
That's a tough one.
Georgia.
Georgia.
We're gonna go with Georgia as well.
Oh, thank goodness.
Again, it would probably be smart to go with Georgia. I'll go with Florida State.
I think he's trying to go 1 to 10 again.
Yeah.
Alan went with Georgia. I'm going with Georgia also.
Good. I'm going to pick up a spot on everybody on that one.
The Dave Portnoy Barstool Sports Bowl.
Oh, I love this one.
Toledo versus Wyoming.
Wow.
The classic Toledo-Wyoming matchup.
It's a good one every year. Toledo all the way, right?
We'll pick Wyoming over
Why?
here.
Wyoming.
Alan went with Wyoming. I am going with Toledo.
Oh.
The ReliaQuest Bowl. ReliaQuest. I don't know what ReliaQuest is. I have no idea. Wisconsin versus LSU.
Oh, LSU.
LSU.
For being a bowl that I've never heard of, they do have some good teams. Wisconsin. Oh.
Alan went with LSU. I'm going with LSU also.
Good. I'll pick one up on you.
The Fiesta Bowl. Liberty versus Oregon.
Liberty.
Liberty, what's, huh?
Liberty University.
Oh, them.
Yeah, they're good.
Yes.
They're undefeated. Seriously, they're undefeated.
Liberty.
Sucker.
Where's that from?
We're going with Oregon.
Oregon by 1,000,000.
Alan went with Oregon, and I think I'm going to have to also.
Well, you'd be stupid if you didn't.
Here is the big one of the day.
Ooh.
The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Iowa versus Tennessee.
Man. I'm going to go Iowa. Hopefully the defense will hold them and they get a chance to get 4 field goals.
Neil showing that he does know
Hey, that's
something
right.
about sports.
Follow me for more.
For being a big Iowa State fan, Tennessee's sitting a lot of guys out. Got to go with Iowa.
It's going to be an Iowa blowout,
Blowouts.
9-0. I mean, that's a blowout for the Hawks.
I'd love to say Al went with Tennessee, but he didn't. He went with Iowa. I'm going to go with Iowa also.
If it's 9-0, I get a bonus point.
Okay.
Mark it down.
The Rose Bowl. Bama versus Michigan.
I'm going Michigan on that one. Definitely.
We're going Michigan as well.
Go Big Ten, Michigan. Down with Alabama.
Down.
Al went with Bama.
Boo.
And I have a theory on this that they want to see Bama and Texas play again in the national
Oh, sure.
championship.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Bama.
All right.
The Sugar Bowl. Texas versus Washington. So I gave you my theory.
That didn't help me, but who was it again?
Texas versus Washington.
Texas. Because they're sweet. Yeah, that's not how this works.
We're going to go with Washington.
See?
I will go future Big Ten, Washington.
Al went with Texas. I'm going to go with Texas also.
Wouldn't that be something, though, if you had a Big Ten matchup, with Washington and Michigan?
That would be pretty cool.
It'd be something heading into next year.
So our lone NFL game Saturday night, Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Is Detroit
Ooh.
for real?
These guys are like, ooh, I don't know.
D versus D.
Yeah, Detroit. I'm going that way. Yeah.
We'll go with the Lions as well. Cowboys have been having a couple rough weeks.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. What the heck? I'll go Dallas.
this will probably shock the viewing community, but Alan went with Dallas. I think it's because he needs Detroit to lose or something like that. I'm not sure what his theory was there, but I am going to go with Detroit.
Okay.
Well, Steve, that does it for today.
All right. So, again, we thank all of our guests that came in today. We've got Hunter and Jake, Dave Peterson, Devin Daly, and, of course, Hot Neil Crott. Making up our sports section today. Bruce, thanks for hosting alone today. I think we'll be back to normal next week. And I'm not sure who Alan has lined up for us
As normal as we can be with Hot Neil Crott here.
So that'll do it for today's sports section, brought to us by Brothers Market. Again, stop into Brothers Market for your holiday shopping needs. They will be open both New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, if I read that correctly. So get in here. We're kind of sitting in what's going to be the new liquor section of the Brothers Market. We were recently in the Busch Light section, which looks like there's still some Busch Light here if you want to buy some. So, get in here to the Brothers Market, and they host the sports section here on Steve Shetler Media. We'll do it again next Saturday morning. Guys, thanks a lot, and take care.